What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I would like to welcome you all to another edition of Wayne's Perspective, where we operate in discipline, decency, integrity, and respect. And I'm coming through with another video just for you. Today's reaction video is titled, "We Tried to Tell You, and We Told You So." And you already know where I'm going with that. But before we get to the video, I just want to start off by saying a few things. And yes, we always got to go back to the 2024 election, now don't we? Now, I'm not sure about you, but it really got under my skin and pissed me off to no end when either the night of the election or the day after the election, there was some reports going around that certain people were looking to change their votes and asking could they change their votes when you should have known that there was no such thing. And then it goes back to, we tried to tell you, but you didn't want to listen. And if you still turned around and voted for Donald Trump a first, a second, or third time, no matter how he acted the first time when he was in office and how he acted out of office, then you played yourself. But then again, it's probably a situation where you know you was being told all these things will happen, but you didn't want to hear from us. Or you were aware of what was going on, or should I say, you knew what happened in the first administration, but no, let me turn around and go back on that one. You paid attention to everything that was happening during the campaign, but you just shut everything off and blindly supported him during his first term. No matter what went on, you supported him. No matter how he acted out of office, you still supported him. So it wouldn't be surprised to me if these same people knew all of this, but had this arrogant, smug attitude. No, you're not going to tell me who to vote for. You're not going to tell me how I should vote. Or he wouldn't do such a thing, but we're seeing it in record time. And we still seeing it right now as I do this video. Oh, and then you want to catch feelings when somebody says, we told you so. But the thing is, we told you so. And just about everything that we said would happen is happening now. Kamala Harris told you so, but for whatever reason, you didn't want to vote for her. And let me touch on that so I don't have to save this at the end. I mentioned this in previous videos before, but I'm going to mention this now. We will see a woman president at some point in these United States, but it's not going to be a Democrat. And I am a Democrat. I'm just saying that due to the rejection of Hillary Clinton and the rejection of Kamala Harris, two well-qualified, albeit flawed candidates, if those two women can be rejected, what are the odds that we're going to see a Democratic president as a woman? And like I said, I guarantee you, mark my words, we will see a woman president at some point in these United States, but it's not going to be a Democrat. It's going to be a Republican. The Republicans are going to get behind whoever their female candidate is, and they're not going to be held to the same standards that they held Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton. I can guarantee you that, especially from a mainstream media standpoint. Just watch what I tell you. So yes, I'm predicting it now, and I've been predicting it for the last year. Mark my words. Now, when you look at the women who make up the GOP right now, a lot of those women are not good candidates for president. But then again, you never know, because like I said in a previous video, the Republicans are going to get behind their candidate no matter how toxic he or she is. The Democrats is always something. On the Democratic side, you got to be perfect, and you got to have 100 of 100 boxes checked. And if one of those boxes are missed, then it's an issue. But I digress. So with all that being said, I just wanted to make those points clear before we get into this video. And shout out to Mark Thompson from the Mark Thompson Show. This video was so good that I was like, I had to come back and do a reaction to it, because he makes such good points, and I'm going to highlight a lot of what he says here. And just going back to the original title of this video, is like, it's too late now. We tried to tell you, and we told you so. And we continuing to see it in real time. And with all that being said, let me go ahead and get this screen shared, and we can get into this video. Fair usage for the video, fair usage. Let's get it started.
I just want to say to everyone out there that I am sincerely sorry for ever having voted for Donald Trump, given this war that's going on and everything else in our country. I mean, this is just a bridge too far. He's going to war on feelings and instinct, which really means that he's just winging it. He has no idea what he's doing, what he's talking about. And now we have a ground war starting in Iran. This is going to be Iraq 2.0, and we're just doing it on behalf of the Israeli government. They've been wanting this probably since the 1980s, I'd imagine. So it's just too much. And I'm sorry to everyone out there that I ever voted for this guy.
Okay, thank you. And
Really
by the
all-
way, he's doing it all by the seat of his pants, dude. You didn't get that? The whole goddamn thing is by the seat of his pants. Oh, you're just figuring just the war is by the seat of his pants? What, do you look at anything else he's doing? Everything he's doing is he put in Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Hegseth, who he saw on TV on Fox Weekend as a co-host. He put in Janine Pirro. She's also on Fox. He puts in a bunch of functionaries, people he used to do golf, play golf with. The guy doing the administration's bidding in terms of these negotiations, both in Iran and Russia, it's his golfing buddy, Steve Witkoff. He doesn't have any diplomatic experience. He doesn't know the history of the region. He doesn't have the institutional cultural knowledge to even deal with these things. It's his golfing buddy, another billionaire real estate guy. He and Jared Kushner are running lead on this. But it's just hitting you now that he's doing things by the seat of his pants?
And that's what I'm talking about right there. See, you turn blind eyes and ears to everything that he says and does, but only when it comes to certain things, that's when it hits you after all this time. Amazing.
I mean, your buyer's remorse on Trump means nothing to me.
It means nothing to me either. And let me say this also before I continue. I don't accept any of their apologies because, again, going back to the title of the video, we tried to tell you and we told you so, but you didn't want to listen. If you want to have this arrogant, smug attitude, well, you're not going to tell me who to vote for. You're not going to tell me anything. If you want to have that, okay, just live with it. But just know your apologies are never going to be accepted from me or anybody else. And for all of the coddling that these supporters / worshipers continue to get is beyond me. But I also want to make another point before I continue with the video, because Mark is cooking now and he's going to continue to cook. Remember last year, there were a lot of town halls going on, specifically in Republican districts, and you had the constituents who had every right to call out their representatives, voice their frustrations. They had every right to do so, and you couldn't blame them. But looking back on that, it hasn't aged well, because I'm going to tell you something. Those were just moments in time, but I guarantee you the majority of those people, after all these things subside, I guarantee you the majority of them, either they're not going to vote or they're going to vote Republican again. They're not going to vote for a Democrat because, quote unquote, their faith tells them that they shouldn't vote for a Democrat, but that's neither here nor there. Those are moments in time. I treat them as moments in time because that's exactly what they are. Once things fold over, boil over, or whatever the case may be, they're going to turn right back around and vote for the Republican candidates. And then we're going to be back to square one, and it's going to be the same thing again. Then you're going to be at the town halls in mass talking about do your job, do your job. But hell, they did that in 2017, not too long after Donald Trump was inaugurated. So some things never change here. But yeah, I just wanted to make that point. But yeah, Mark, he's going to continue to cook here.
You're an idiot. It was clear. This guy is all about self-enrichment and corruption. He doesn't care about government. He's never administered anything. He's never managed anything. His charity was barred from doing business in New York. His university was declared a fraud, and they had to pay $25 million on a legal judgment.
And by the way, to anybody who participated in that university and they got compensated or whatever, I want to know if any of them same people who were scammed, if they turned around and voted for this guy again, because I would not want anything to do with somebody who scammed me, no matter whether it was $1, $100, $1,000, $10, $100,000, $1 million, you name it. If you scammed me, I want nothing to do with you. But like I said, I guarantee you some of them same folks who were scammed, they turn around and voted for him. But at the same time, you wouldn't accept this from a Democrat, though. Oh, yeah, and I'm going to be saying that a lot in this video. You wouldn't accept certain things from a Democrat, but when a Republican does it, it's just fine. Would you accept a Democratic president scamming you like that? But it's fine when Donald Trump does it because, again, everything is a goddamn joke.
And now you're just saying, oh, I think he's really got no idea at all on this war. He's got no idea on government. The tariffs, insanely inflationary, and just a chance for him to shake down different nations, nation by nation. And that's exactly what's
Right.
happened. Smack talking Mexico, smack talking Canada, smack talking NATO, and now we go back to NATO begging them for help to keep the strait open.
And right here, he's talking about what's going on in Iran. Now, again, how can you smack talk and denigrate and dismiss allies? And then when the pressure gets tight, you want to come back and ask for their help. Nobody is going to help you. And quite frankly, they shouldn't. And no, I don't support Iran. And I don't think you listening to this support Iran either. But the nerve and the gall of anybody to denigrate somebody and talk smack and just downplay their role in the world. But when the pressure gets tight based on decisions that you made, and it doesn't matter if Israel caused you or not, it doesn't matter. The fact is that you did all this, but then you expect these same people to come to your aid? You really playing yourself.
It's pathetic.
With a capital P.
And you get a call into talk radio saying, I regret now that I voted for Trump because it's clear he doesn't know what he's doing with this war. He doesn't know what he's doing with this war. He doesn't know what he's doing with anything in government.
Anything in government.
He's never had an hour of public service before you voted in him. You voted him in to run everything in the world. And that's what he wants to do. Take over Venezuela. Cuba's next. Bomb Iran. It's an outrage. I have no sympathy for you Trump bros. None.
I don't have any sympathy for him either. Zero. I'm with Mark on this one.
Play me cut 6.
Not everybody's planning to vote for Republicans in the midterms who supported Trump. Let's take a listen to one more woman who we spoke with. If you could say something to President Trump and he was going to hear you right now, what would it be?
You're a worthless pile of
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
Not everybody's planning.
You know what, ma'am?
Let me stop it right there. Now, this clip is going viral. A lot of people have talked about this, so let me talk about this as well. I don't feel sorry for her either because look at that. 3-time Trump voter. What do you expect? But you see, this is another thing where we talk about selfishness. And like I said in the previous video, the one thing that really bugs me about this country on the list of several of them is that our society has turned into a real selfish, what have you done for me lately kind of society. And it really ratcheted up going back as far as 2024. And we're still seeing it right now. Only when it starts affecting you is it a problem. But if gas was $1.99 or lower, then it wouldn't be a problem, right? It only becomes a problem when it affects you. But other than that, you don't give one good damn about it. That's the selfishness I'm talking about. And that's the selfishness we've been seeing for quite some time now. Only thing now is that it's a big problem. And that's a real issue with me because of how selfish our society is. And it doesn't seem like it's getting any better. Only when it touches you, that's when it becomes a problem. But other than that, you don't have no issue with it. Gas rises, it's a problem. But if it's down, if it's low, you know, everything else is fair game. Very, very interesting.
I'm sorry to agree with you, but you are. You are. I mean, I get it. To be part of a movement, populist, guy talks smack, doesn't take any crap. He speaks to the elite. He is the elite.
Bam, right there. I ain't mean to pause it so quick. Bam. He is the elite. He's been the elite. Look, oh my God. He is the elite. He's been elite for his entire life. What made you think that there was anything different? He's the very definition of elite. He's not a common man. He doesn't know what it's like to be in the midst of a common man. Donald Trump is not a people person. That's another thing. He's not a people person. He never has been. He never will be.
He's the epicenter of the elite, you morons. Look at his cabinet. It's a billionaire's boys club. What is wrong? How could you look at Trump and think that he's an advocate for you?
Another thing that I want to throw in there, see, I guarantee you, most of these people probably look at what's going on in government now as it's a reality TV show or something like that as the White House turns. Cause see, we all got to be entertained. We got to have something to laugh at. We got to have something to look at on TV. I guarantee you that's how the majority of the people are looking at this, like it's a reality show, but you're not dealing with reality TV show issues here. You're not.
He cuts the programs you depend on.
Oh yeah, that's another good point. He cuts the programs they depend on, but then they want to turn around and blame somebody else for it. Imagine such a thing. He cuts the programs you want, but you want to find a way to blame the Democrats for it. Are you serious right now? But see, apparently you'll give up your Medicare, your Medicaid, your Social Security, your house, your car, your paycheck, your wallet, all of your belongings. You'll give all of that up if it means riding for the cause, right? Right? But still at the same time, you could be homeless, but still want to blame the Democrats for all of that, right? Go figure.
Dude, if he were a billionaire, even a little corrupt, but had his act together, I'd be okay. Well, you know, the guy's corrupt. I'd call him out the way I used to call Biden out on stuff. I'm not looking to attack Trump. But by now, get the effing memo. And, of course, the real embarrassment is all the people around him who are so busy kissing his ass that they will lie on his behalf. An entire party, the GOP, will lie on his behalf just to keep the train rolling.
Exactly.
Play me some Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, this is outrageous. Tulsi Gabbard, who sold her soul long ago, if she ever had it. Here she is in front of the Oversight Committee. Play me cut 2, talking to John Ossoff, who is a hero of the Democratic Party, the senator from Georgia.
So the assessment of the intelligence community is that Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated by last summer's airstrikes.
Yes.
In the opening statement you submitted to the committee last night also stated, quote, there has been no effort since then to try to rebuild their enrichment capability, end quote, correct?
That's right.
And that's the assessment of the intelligence community.
Yes.
The White House stated on March 1st of this year that this war was launched and was, quote, a military campaign to eliminate the imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime, end quote. That's a statement from the White House. Quote, the imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime. Was it the assessment of the intelligence community that there was an imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime?
The intelligence community assessed that Iran maintained the intention to rebuild and to continue to grow their nuclear enrichment capability.
Was it the assessment of the intelligence community that there was a, quote, imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime, yes or no?
Senator, the only person who can determine what is and is not an imminent threat is the president.
False.
and
This
he
is the
made that
worldwide. This is the
determination.
worldwide threats hearing where you present to Congress national intelligence, timely, objective, and independent of political considerations. You've stated today that the intelligence community's assessment is that Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated and that, quote, there had been no efforts since then to try to rebuild their enrichment capability. Was it the intelligence community's assessment that nevertheless, despite this obliteration, there was a, quote, imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime? Yes or no?
It is not the intelligence community's responsibility to determine what is and is not an imminent threat.
Okay.
That is up to
Here's
the
the
president
problem.
based on a volume
No,
of
it is
information
precisely
that he receives.
it is precisely your responsibility to determine what constitutes a threat to the United States. This is the worldwide threats hearing where, as you noted in your opening testimony, quote, you represent the IC's assessment of threats. You are here to represent the IC's assessment of threats. That's a quote from your own opening statement. And so my question is, as you're here to present the IC's assessment of threats, was it the assessment of the intelligence community?
And look, let me stop right here right quick. It makes no sense for this type of interpretation to be solely directed by Donald Trump, because to let him tell it, everything, especially everything that doesn't agree with him, would be considered a threat. Just wanted to throw that in there.
that, as the White House claimed on March 1st, there was a, quote, imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime? Yes or no?
Once again, Senator, the intelligence community has provided the inputs that make up this annual threat assessment.
You won't answer the
It is the
question.
nature of the imminent threat that the president has to make that determination based on a collection and volume
You're
of
here to be
information and
timely.
intelligence that he is
You're here-
provided with.
You're here.
Yeah. So you say that the nuclear threat from Iran was obliterated. She said it in her opening remarks. Why? Because that checks the box that the boss checks when he says we've obliterated their nuclear program back in June, right? But she also has to speak to the fact that there's an imminent threat, because that's the other box that the boss checks, because that was what got us into this war. So what is it? Was it obliterated, or is there an imminent threat? How can there be an imminent threat from something that was obliterated?
Exactly.
And they didn't just power up their nukes 6 months later, and now they're an imminent threat, and they're going to hit us within 2 weeks. That's just lunacy. But that's exactly what Trump said. And now she is trying to dance around and dignify those remarks, even though it's absurd. She knows it's absurd, and she also knows that it is her job to evaluate and then recommend based on those evaluations. So somehow she's saying, look, I just present the guy the data. You know, I don't know. No, you present the guy the data in a coherent way. You evaluate threats. She is a fraud. I had dinner the other night with someone who's a friend of hers, and they said, I texted Tulsi, and I really think she should resign because she knows better than this.
She should not be in this role, just like the rest of them.
They just don't get it. The old Lord Acton line, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely, is what's very relevant here. None of these people are resigning. The power is intoxicating. She went to Fulton County on that ridiculousness where they're grabbing voter rolls. It's outrageous. She'll do anything, absolutely anything. There is nothing that Tulsi Gabbard won't do to support this administration. Nothing. There is no bridge too far. I don't like Joe Kent particularly, the guy who resigned yesterday or 2 days ago. We had that story. We had it, I think, just hours after it happened. We were talking about it. And I think some of what he says is total BS. Like, Israel got us into Iraq. That's just bullshit.
Complete bullshit.
But Israel got us into this war. Yeah. And more to the point, he said he couldn't go on anymore. And he felt this war was a huge mistake and a war of choice. And for those reasons, I have respect for what he did. He's a total MAGA loyalist, too. Tulsi Gabbard will never have a moment like that. Never. This president will ask her to do anything, and she'll do anything. Play me cut 3, is it, Albert? This is also some more Gabbard.
The United States' secure nuclear deterrent continues to ensure safety in the homeland against strategic threats. However, the intelligence community assesses that Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, and Pakistan have been researching and developing an array of novel, advanced, or traditional missile delivery systems with nuclear and conventional payloads that put our homeland within range. The IC assesses that threats to the homeland will expand collectively to more than 16,000 missiles by 2035, from the current assessed figure of more than 3,000 missiles.
Okay, that's good. She's just saying, hey, world's a dangerous place. We're assessing there are way more missiles. Is that a menu of the other nations that you want to open fire on, Tulsi? Because they've got missiles that can reach the homeland. The homeland, I'm so sick of that term, too, the homeland. You know where the homeland term comes from? Nazi effing Germany. God, we started it after 9/11, and now it's homeland security. Everything's irritating me today, Kim. I don't know what it is.
I agree with Daniel. I love it when you're angry.
I love it when you're angry.
Anyway,
Gonna be all right?
I'm
We're
just,
going to make it through this?
I'm saddened by all of this. Let me give you one other huge piece of news just to show you how dire things are. Scott Bessent, who's another one who sold his soul, making a fortune. I don't know what best friend of Bessent self-enrichment might be going on. I just don't know. I don't understand. He is the great American BS machine every time I see him out there. But Scott Bessent said this today, just hours ago. He said the U.S. may lift sanctions. Now, we've already lifted sanctions on Russia and Russian oil because the world so desperately needs that oil.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't this the guy that said that gas prices, or should I say the rise of gas prices, are not of their concern right now? Didn't he say that? But apparently that's a joke, right? But if this was a representative under a Democratic administration saying this, then there'll be a lot of protests. Everybody would be crying and complaining. Everybody would be saying this and saying that. Poll numbers will go down. There'll be protests on college campuses. Don't even get me started on that because I still have smoke for that, et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, he can just say this and then it'll just be treated like a non-story. But if this was under a Democratic administration, the roles would be totally different.
Mentioned it to you a few days ago. And then Russia has all of that money coming in. It is something that has never really in the last few years ever been as positive a development for Russia as it is this week. But Bessent today said that the U.S. may lift sanctions on Iranian oil, the very country you are at war with.
What?
Iranian oil that is already in transit amid rising energy prices. Bessent saying to Fox Business that about 140 million barrels of oil would be freed up by this move. Quote, that's about 10 days to 2 weeks of supply that the Iranians had been pushing out that would have all gone to China. He said, in essence, we will be using the Iranian barrels against the Iranians to keep the price down for the next 10 or 14 days as we continue this campaign. Is that the way you see it? Wow, you really have to work yourself into a pretzel to come up with that result. Again, the developments in the Gulf are massive. You know, they've already begun workarounds when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz, but those workarounds themselves are fraught with danger. What's happening here is an escalation ladder that is scary. And to hear them speak in the administration openly, and Trump, in essence, trumpeting the fact that, and you heard Hegseth saying the same thing, today could be the toughest day yet for the Iranians. Really? Well, again, that escalatory phase of the war, where you are now taking out oil fields, LNG production facilities, this is serious stuff. It's pretty escalatory to the point that these retaliations, they also are escalations. Watch this space. It's a very dangerous situation. And it's going to, beyond the, when I say danger, I'm talking about for the world economy as well. I mean, the effects on the world economy will be massive, and we're not bailing out anytime soon. We're not recovering from this anytime soon. There's an ecological disaster. As China doesn't get any kind of energy, they're just going to burn coal. And the excursion that Donald Trump talks about is now going to be an open-ended commitment that America has. And once again, $200 billion is what the Pentagon wants. If there's time after David Katz.
All right, I'm going to stop it right there. But again, Mark Thompson went in on this video. I agree with everything that he said. He made some very, very good points. And now that I'm at the end of this video. I just want to leave everyone with this. If there's no takeaways from what Mark Thompson said, and I'm not sure why there wouldn't be any takeaways, because everything that he said is an individual takeaway in itself, I'm going to leave you with this. If your administration's sole reason for policy / decision making is for distraction purposes, congratulations, you played yourself. If you remain silent on Trump's Iran decisions, but would be very vocal if a Democrat president did the same things on a larger scale, congratulations, you played yourself. If you claim that Kamala Harris as president will be doing the same things as Donald Trump, but worse, congratulations, you played yourself. If you're completely silent on Trump's obvious mental cognitive decline, but had tons of things to say about Joe Biden, congratulations, you played yourself. If you voted for Trump to get a stimulus check while either forgetting or ignoring why those checks were issued in the first place, congratulations, you really played yourself. If you set out the 2024 presidential election and still defend that decision today, congratulations, you played yourself. If your first response is he, meaning Trump, told me he would do this in response to rising prices or another one of his failed promises, congratulations, you played yourself. If you thought Trump was joking when he said, I don't care about you, I only want your vote, but would be up in arms if a Democratic candidate said this, congratulations, you played yourself. If your response to something Trump said he would do is, oh, he wouldn't do such a thing, but you believe 100% that Kamala Harris would do something she specifically said she wouldn't do, congratulations, you played yourself. If you voted third party or protest voted to teach the Democrats a lesson in the 2024 presidential election, congratulations, you played yourself. If you voted for Trump 3 times, considering how he governed during his first term and how he acted while out of office, congratulations, you played yourself. If you voted for the lesser of 2 evils and both sides every single issue, congratulations, you played yourself. If you take serious issues for jokes, but when something touches you, things aren't so funny anymore, congratulations, you played yourself. If you dismiss facts and fail to pay attention, congratulations, you played yourself. If you refuse to exercise your right to vote but still talk about political issues, congratulations, you played yourself. If your sole reason for voting is to get reparations, otherwise you're staying home, congratulations, you played yourself. If you continue to claim that both parties are the same, congratulations, you played yourself. And if you expect a Democratic president to get his or her agenda passed on day one, and if that doesn't happen, you're not voting, all the while giving the Republican president all the time in the world over 4 years to do something, anything, no matter what it is, congratulations, you played yourself. And on that note, I'm done with this video. If you like what you heard and you're ready to become part of Team Discipline, go ahead and hit that like button and drop some comments if you're feeling the content. Definitely let me know your thoughts on this. And last but not least, hit that subscribe button along with the bell so you're notified when I drop new videos. And until next time, my people, take care of yourselves and remember, the power of the mind is valuable.